Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7fm.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. What are the most common types of crimes committed around the Morongo Basin? That's the question posed to Douglas Poston, supervising Deputy District Attorney for the Desert Division Morongo Basin Office, on a recent episode of the Z107.7 Up Close show. Host Gary Daigneault spoke with Poston about the types of crimes most commonly prosecuted in our community and shared one unusual incident from the last few weeks.
What types of crimes are the most common to this area? Is it drugs? Is it theft? Is it land uses? What are you seeing the most of?
Sure. In many cases, we see theft and domestic violence and narcotics are the three main categories. And theft can be anything from residential burglary to we had a gentleman steal a large television from Walmart the other day, and and that one was kind of a quirky case.
You got to tell me. You can't just say it's a quirky case.
Okay.
Come on now.
Sure. This gentleman, apparently, you know how folks will put their boxes of gifts that they've opened out on the curb for trash collection after Christmas. He apparently found a large TV box, then took some hefty bags, filled them with water, put those inside the TV box, wheeled that TV box into Walmart up here, put that on the shelf with essentially water jugs in it, and then grabbed the TV and put that in his shopping cart and wheeled his way right out of Walmart.
Okay, that was creative.
Yeah, very creative. Yeah. Not well thought out, but pretty creative because Walmart has great surveillance.
Yeah.
And Walmart, thankfully, is kind of getting on board with the changes in Prop 36, and so that case then became a petty theft with prior petty thefts. That person wasn't even from this area. He was from, I think, down by Palm Desert or DHS. And that person had a prior strike conviction, and then I think half a dozen or more prior theft convictions. So that was an example of one of those people that we now filed on under a new Prop 36 crime.
You can learn more about Prop 36 in this story at Z107.7fm.com or listen to their full conversation as a podcast wherever you get your podcasts. The National Weather Service has issued a high wind warning for San Bernardino County in effect until 8 p.m. tonight. In addition, a red flag warning is in effect until 10 p.m. The Weather Service anticipates northeast winds, 25 to 40 miles per hour with gusts up to 60 miles per hour, isolated gusts up to 75 miles per hour in the San Bernardino Mountains. If you've got a question, comment, or concern about the town of Yucca Valley, sit down for a soda with the mayor and talk about it. This morning, the town of Yucca Valley kicks off their Soda with the Mayor program. You can sidle up to new mayor Jeff Drozd at 9 a.m. at the Yucca Valley Community Center for light refreshments and civil-civic conversation. Soda with the Mayor will be held on the third Tuesday of each month, and future locations will be shared prior to each event. Mayor Drozd encourages residents to ask questions regarding the evening's council agenda or share suggestions for the community. The Yucca Valley Town Council will gather tonight in its first official meeting with new Mayor Jeff Drozd. Here is reporter Adeline J. Wells with more on tonight's agenda.
The Yucca Valley Town Council will begin its first meeting of the new year with 2 public hearings on long-discussed items. Throughout 2024, the Town Council and Planning Commission worked together to form guidelines for commercial special events and commercial sidewalk sales within Yucca Valley. The Planning Commission drafted ordinances to establish parameters for both items, which they voted to advance to the Town Council at meetings late last year. As part of the Development Code, all new ordinances must be presented via a public hearing before the Town Council prior to adoption. Following the presentation of the Yucca Valley Aquatic and Recreation Center project quarterly update, the Town Council will reaffirm Mayor Drozd and Councilmember Lombardo's appointments to the Planning Commission and Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Commission. Town staff will then present the Council with a report on the Senior Center Closure Program Plan. As part of Phase 2 of its modernization project, the Senior Center will undergo construction from early February through November. The report will outline a relocation plan for most operations and activities held at the center to be implemented following a brief closure from February 3rd through the 17th. Town staff is exploring a temporary kiosk option for the Senior Center thrift store. Lastly, the Town Council will consider changing their meetings to an earlier start time to encourage more public participation. Tonight's meeting is open to the public and begins at 6 p.m. at the Yucca Valley Community Center. Reporting for Z107.7, this is Adeline J. Wells.
The 29 Palms Water District Board of Directors meets in regular session tomorrow afternoon. The board is expected to consider their annual statement of investment policy, review financial statements, and receive updates on maintenance, water quality, and more. Comments from the public on these and other issues is always welcome. The meeting begins tomorrow at 4 p.m. at 72401 Hatch Road in 29 Palms. Calling all dancers and movement artists, a local dance collective is hosting auditions for their next performance. Reporter Adeline J. Wells rejoins us with more on how you can get involved.
The Dance Mojave Performance Collective is hosting auditions on Saturday, January 25th, for their next production, titled The Planets. The upcoming outdoor performance will be held May 9th and 10th at the Sky's the Limit Observatory and Nature Center in 29 Palms. Dances celebrating the wondrous components of our solar system will be set to the classic orchestral suite by Gustav Holst and original music by Jeremy Levi Sampson. Dance Mojave is a collective of creative movement artists and dancers in the Morongo Basin. The group put on its first performance, a desert-inspired rendition of the Nutcracker, in December. Dance Mojave aims to expand by offering technique classes and community-wide open audition performance opportunities to the high desert. All interested dancers and movement artists ages 7 and up are encouraged to try out. Those auditioning do not need to prepare any material in advance. A choreographer will lead prospective dancers through a movement section. Dancers are encouraged to wear comfortable dance or workout attire. Dance shoes, socks, or bare feet will all work well as footwear options. Auditions for The Planets will be held on Saturday, January 25th in the Choya Room at the Yucca Valley Community Center. Auditions for children ages 7 to 12 will begin at 1 p.m., with adult auditions to follow at 1:30 p.m. To register, visit this story at Z107.7fm.com or email dancemojave@gmail.com. Reporting for Z107.7, this is Adeline J. Wells.
Applications are now being accepted for the 2025 Desert Fringe Theater Cultural Arts Festival, formerly known as the High Desert Fringe Festival. Deadline for performer and workshop applications is February 15th. This is the festival's 7th year of showcasing original, non-traditional, provocative performance art. The event is designed to establish a forum for promoting cultural equity and community involvement through a progressive arts movement, and they'll offer 3 days of performances, improv, music, and workshops presented by an array of artists. The festival, which is sponsored this year by a grant from the Tourism Bureau of 29 Palms, will take place March 28th through 30th at Freedom Plaza in 29 Palms. Performers interested in being a part of this annual event can submit an application at the festival's website, highdesertfringe.org. And finally, today is National Squirrel Day, and the high desert has its own unique species that is often mistaken for another diminutive ground dweller. Online news editor Robert Hayden joins us with the info.
Don't call them chipmunks. The white-tailed antelope squirrel is a small rodent that lives here in the Morongo Basin, and it's an integral part of the Mojave Desert biodiversity. They have a white stripe down their back and a face similar to a chipmunk, but these little fellows have longer legs than their cousin species and run around the desert with their short white tail up in the air. You can often see them out and about during the daytime. They can be anywhere from 5 to 8 inches long, and they forage during the daytime for seeds, insects, lizards, and cactus. During the hotter months, they burrow underground to avoid the heat, and they can withstand temps down below freezing when underground. The antelope ground squirrel joins the California ground squirrel as 2 of the most common ground rodents you'll see around the Mojave Desert during the day. Although they hang out around trees, they aren't often in them like other California squirrel varieties. And once the sun sets, most of the squirrel activity moves underground, and kangaroo rats take over the seed-gathering duties. If you're in your backyard and see small holes at the base of creosote, you're probably at the entrance of an antelope squirrel's home. Most of their burrows only extend about 2 feet below the surface, where they build a nest out of dried vegetation and fur. We're also coming up on their mating season, which is from February to June, and litter sizes range from 5 to 15 babies, meaning if you aren't seeing antelope ground squirrels now, keep your eyes peeled in April when a new batch arrives with spring. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear about news happening, let us know. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z107.7 Local News, I'm News Director Jeff Harmatz.